Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. I've wanted to talk about this movie for so long, and now that it's finally out, I can talk about it properly. So today, we are talking about Mortal Kombat 2021. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. Actually, before that, I think it would be wise for me to talk about the overall history of Mortal Kombat. That way, everyone's up to speed and everyone knows what Mortal Kombat is, hopefully. So, that's what we're going to do first. So, let's get started. Mortal Kombat. It's been around for nearly 30 years, had its humble beginnings in the arcades back in 1992. The game became both famous and infamous for its graphic content. Mainly, it's the blood, the gore, and most importantly, the fatalities, right? The success of that first game spawned several sequels, mainly Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3. But at the same time, that first game was so controversial, it led to the introduction of the ESRB rating system. You know, that thing you see on game covers, that E10, T, M. Yeah, all of that resulted from the controversy surrounding Mortal Kombat. But the thing is, the controversy only fueled Mortal Kombat's popularity. And in 1995, Hollywood decided to make a movie out of Mortal Kombat. Now, even back then, even back in 1995, video game movies had a terrible reputation, mainly due to the failures of the Super Mario Brothers movie and the Super Street Fighter movie. Both bombed hard. So expectations for Mortal Kombat weren't exactly high. But the movie defied all the odds and was a big hit financially. It was the first successful video game movie ever. Now, when it comes to actual quality, it's kind of iffy. I mean, looking at it now, it has definitely not aged the best, and it lacks the blood and gore of the games, but still, it's a fun movie. It keeps the tone of the games, it keeps the atmosphere, and it's just generally just a fun movie. You could just sit back, watch it, turn off your brain a bit, and just have a good time. And I definitely believe it's one of the best video game movies of all time. A lot of people say the same thing. I say it too. Yeah, so things were going great for Mortal Kombat at this time, but then the late 90s, things took a turn, a turn for the worse. Mortal Kombat 4 was not as popular as some of the other games. Some of the spin off games like Anthology Sub Zero and Special Forces were seen as terrible. But the cream of the crap, the movie sequel, Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation 1997. My God, what a train wreck that was. Truly one of the worst, forget video game movies, one of the worst movies ever made. It has some of the worst acting, worst writing, worst effects you will ever see in a movie. It's horrific, but it's also a blast to watch. It's definitely one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, even though I know for a fact it's god awful. But yeah, that second movie tanked. It tanked everywhere. Critics, audiences, fans, box office, universal failure. And it was so bad it scared Hollywood from making another Mortal Kombat movie for a long time. But when it comes to the games, things eventually recovered. Like in the 2000s, you had your Deadly Alliances, your Deceptions, your Armageddons, your DC Universes. We don't talk about that one. But the series didn't truly recover in my eyes until Mortal Kombat 9 back in 2011, the reboot. That was the first Mortal Kombat game I really owned, and I loved it. That was my first true, like, legitimate exposure to the brand besides the 90s movies. And then that led to several sequels, Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11. So yeah, the games were doing fine. Actually, the recent games have been doing better than some of the older games. So it makes all the sense in the world to try to do another Mortal Kombat movie. And So James Wan, he produced it. The project came to fruition, and that was it. And here we are with a new Mortal Kombat movie after 24 years, nearly a quarter of a century since the last one. See, that's a lot. So that's the history of, filled with a bunch of ups and downs. So, yeah, now, with all that being said, let's get to the pros and cons. Pros: Mortal Kombat has a big audience, huge fan base. I mean, that first trailer, when it came out, everyone was looking forward to it. In fact, people were curious. They're just like, where's the trailer? Like, this movie's coming out in 2 months. Where is it? And then it finally popped up, and everyone got hyped, me included. Just seeing this new version, this, more violent, R-rated version of Mortal Kombat. It felt good. It felt good to be excited about a movie because I haven't felt that in quite some time. And a lot of people looked forward to it. And at the time, it had the biggest trailer debut for an R-rated movie. Granted, that record's been surpassed by the Suicide Squad, but still, the fact that this had the record says a lot. It means this movie, people were looking forward to this. Like, so, yeah, it's definitely a pro. Is that one? Well, actually, a couple pros. One, Mortal Kombat has a big audience from the get go, from the games. And two, there's quite a bit of intense interest in this movie, judging by the view counts the trailers have gotten and how it broke a big record when it came out. So, yeah, that's definitely some pros right there. Another pro: Warner Brothers must clearly have some faith in this movie because it's getting the widest release for a pandemic movie so far. It's at 3,070 theaters, which is more than Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, they must have some faith in this thing if they're willing to do that. So I'd consider that a pro. Let's see, another pro. Uh, with most Warner Brothers movies, the advertising has been relentless. I don't think I've gone a single day this month, when I've been on YouTube where I haven't seen an ad for the Mortal Kombat movie. I'm pretty sure if you've been on YouTube recently, you've seen at least one Mortal Kombat ad. So yeah, that's definitely a pro. It's that more, Warner Brothers has been relentless with their advertising. Uh, I guess another pro is that video game movies, their reputation is slowly getting out of the gutter. Yeah, I mean, I do mean slowly. Like, I mean, it was like the whole genre is filled with so much crap that it's hard to you know make it, turn it off. I'm losing my train of thought. It's late. Give me a break. It's like 1 a.m. Like, it's hard to really salvage the whole genre, but some of these movies, they're trying, and this is one of them. I mean, I know its review score right now, it's like at 50%, which is still miles better than a majority of video game movies, especially Annihilation. That's a 3%. But I don't think the review score really matters for this movie. I think it's just more of a, fans, tuning in to see it. Like, I think it's more of a fan thing than a critic thing. Kind of like the Sonic movie in a way. So, yeah, that's definitely something to note. I think that's it with pros, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about pros. Cons: pandemic. Well, it has a bit more theaters to work with, but still not quite as much as it usually would have. And also audience restrictions too. So that's definitely a con. That will forever be a con until this pandemic is over. Um, Con number two. Okay, that R rating. A lot of people were very excited about the R rating, including me, because Mortal Kombat has always been about the blood and gore. And without it, it's just another fighting series. Like, that blood and gore, that's part of its identity. Like, you can't take that away from Mortal Kombat. If you try, it's considered blasphemy to Mortal Kombat fans. But I don't know, that R rating can be both a blessing and a curse in some ways. But considering how successful R-rated movies have been recently, your Deadpool's, your Logan's, your Joker's, It's, you know, yeah, I don't think the R rating is really much of a problem now that I think about it. So scratch that. It's no longer a con. R rating is no longer a con because most Mortal Kombat fans are adults anyway. So yeah. Uh, trying to think of another con. I mean, I could say star power, but it really doesn't matter for a movie like this. It's not about the stars, it's about the brand and also the characters too. So, yeah, it's mostly about the brand and the characters and not because of who's exactly in the movie, like which actors are playing which parts. It's about the characters. So, yeah, I don't need to mention that. What else can I say? Oh yeah, HBO Max. How can I forget HBO Max? That whole experiment. It might prevent this movie from making a few dollars. I mean, I already saw this movie on HBO Max. I saw it well technically yesterday, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. It's leagues better than Annihilation. That's for damn sure. And it's definitely probably one of my favorite video game movies, at least to my memory. But yeah, the HBO Max thing could hurt it a bit, but Godzilla vs Kong did quite well even with HBO Max, so there's a chance this could do the same. Okay, I think that's it. So opening weekend. Well, considering the 90s movies, like the first one opened to 23 million, the second opened to 16 million. I think this new one, because of the pandemic and all the restrictions and whatnot, I think if it wasn't for the pandemic, it probably would have reached like 30, 40 million. But because of the pandemic, that's just not going to happen. Uh, if I wanted to go to like the highest of highs, I would say 20, but that's a little too much. So I'm going to lower it to about 15 million. 15 million is the highest I'm willing to go, and the lowest I'm willing to go is 10. I think this one can hit double digits. I really do. I think it has enough of a fan base that will show up to support it. So, yeah, 10 to 15 million is where my range is when it comes to its opening weekend. Overall, it'll probably reach like 30-ish million. And yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that's Mortal Kombat. And that's it for this weekend. I know next weekend there's separation, and then that's the end of April. So, yeah, April was a slow month. I mean, there was really only one movie that anyone gave a crap about. Well, really two. That was Demon Slayer and Mortal Kombat. I mean, well, there was Godzilla vs Kong that opened the last day of March, made a majority of its money in April. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So yeah. Anywho, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got a playlist on the homepage with all previous 2021 movies I've covered already. Your Tom and Jerry's, your Ray and the Last Dragons, your Godzilla vs. Kongs. Cover them all. Granted, it's not a long list, but it's what I have to work with. But if you want to check out any of my past prediction videos, like 2019, 2020, you can go right ahead. There's the canceled series that might be over, maybe. I mean, it's been 2 weeks since anything significant happened, but you never know. It could always pop back whenever I least expect it. So, yeah, watch out. Be wary of another canceled episode. But if you want to check out any of my past canceled episodes, all 57 of them, you can go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. I will do the triple recap of February, March, April, early May, first week of May. And then May will be the first solo month, the solo recap month I'll do and since February of 2020, which like damn, that's such a long time ago. See, I look forward to that, but that won't come out till June. So yeah. But if you want to check out any of my past recap videos, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.